Okay, welcome back. Doing another book review. That's basically what this channel is becoming, is just book reviews. And you know what? That's fine. I've got two kids now. One is just 3 months old. The other's 2.5. He's a handful. I love them both so much. Two sons. And I just don't have the time to do what I used to do. I mean, if you look at the beginning of this YouTube channel, it really was me ranting about particular subjects that I knew about or wanted to discuss while I was pushing my son, when we just had one, in a stroller back when we lived in California. I'd always be taking him out for walks, so I would use that time to rant. It was fun. I don't have that much time anymore, but what I do seem to be able to do at night and in the early morning when no one is awake is read books. A lot of books. I cannot believe it. I have a whole bookshelf now that I just bought this bookshelf 9 months ago, 7 months ago. It's 6 feet tall. The bookshelf is, and I'm just kind of going over to see it. It's got 4 shelves, and it's full. And I literally have to go buy another one, which is funny. My dad had a big library that covered an entire wall of his bedroom when I was younger, and I used to just remark, like, wow, did he really read all those books? And he probably did, because I am now a huge book reader. But the kind of things that my dad reads are cucked, absolutely cucked. And the kind of things that I read are based, or they are very knowledgeable. A lot of it is history, some of it's theology. I've got a whole section on ways to be a better man, like an actual man, not a little bitch. I've got my Castelia library and my junior classics and other books from Castelia. I've got Giuseppe Filotto's books, the Kurgan, I have his books too, not all of them, but I've got a few up there. And the Easton Press, as we've talked about, as well as an entire Tolkien set. But anyway, that's just me ranting, because that is not what we're talking about right now. We are talking about a book that I just managed to squeeze in right before I got another book. If you saw my last book review, you saw that I said that I was going to read E. Michael Jones's Logos Rising next. And I was just waiting for it to come. It did come, but not as quick as I thought, and so I was able to squeeze this book in, and I actually finished this book well over a week and a half ago. I just never got around to reviewing it. It took me about 4 days to read it, not like I'm sitting there the whole time, maybe just an hour here, an hour there, not a long read. And the way I found out about this book, The Way of Men by Jack Donovan, is because of this book, and I mentioned this book in another kind of bundled up review of a number of books video I did a few months back. I bought this book on Kindle, Hard Times Create Strong Men, and then because I liked it, I decided to buy the paperback version of it in case somebody else wanted to read it, because I would highly recommend it. It's actually quite a thick book. This guy really cranked it out, but Stefan Aarnio, kind of like Logos Rising, a lot of his book is quotes from other books. It's critiques or agreements or commentary on other books, and one of those books was Way of Men by Jack Donovan. So I was like, well, why don't I pick up The Way of Men and read it and see what it's all about? And it was good, and I liked it a lot. The premise is basically, and this isn't giving the whole book away, but it's just like, the way of men is the way of gangs. Like, gangs and kingdoms and political entities are all one and the same thing. They just vary by different size. Rome was a gang at one point. Then it became an empire. Still a gang. The way of men is the way of gangs, and we basically have to figure out how much of manliness and the way of men do we want to trade to have what is more of like the feminine version of a civilized society. We, in today's world, have obviously gone way too far on the civilized part, because men are like Peter Pans, they're betas, they're weak, they're fat, they're porn addicted, they can't talk to women. It's like a really bad thing. That's because we've gone way too far in that direction. But if we dialed it all the way back, yeah, we'd be roaming the lands, we'd be killing other men, we'd be getting killed, and so forth. So there's like a good balance we're trying to achieve. That's what this book is about. It's a great book, and it's a short read. It did talk about Rome specifically as an example, but I would highly recommend it. And I would also say, which, by the way, I'm going to answer this question at the end of all my reviews, but would I wrap this in leather and buy a leather-bound version of it? Yes, I would. So that's just a quick review for you. This is the book that I read, and then Logos Rising did come, and I'm reading it now. It's going to take a while, but I will wrap this up here. You could probably hear my baby crying in the back, but yeah, good book. Check it out, okay?